In this video, I'm going to cover how established marketing agencies can add 60 to 100K a month in new revenue in 6 to 12 months on a done for you model, or they don't have to pay. And this is all without using slimy sales tactics, having to worry about the economy, or relying on referrals or inbound leads for new growth. So, in the past few months, I've been on a bit of a mission, and I've really made it my goal to speak to as many established marketing agencies as possible, trying to uncover what their biggest challenges are, what their biggest goals are, what the biggest problems they're facing, and ultimately where they're trying to get to. I'm trying to uncover where that point is. And after doing this, after making it my goal to speak to as many of these agencies as possible, I've come across a few common themes that seem to keep cropping up, and I just wanted to run you through what that looks like now. So, in terms of their biggest problems, they struggle to clearly define and communicate their unique value proposition to their potential clients. They find it hard to consistently generate high quality leads and acquire new clients. They're ineffective in closing deals and converting leads into long-term clients. Typically, they struggle to manage resources while scaling their operations and hiring talent at the same time. They find it very challenging to balance this. They're usually stuck in the day-to-day of running their agency and have their time spread thin across multiple different tasks. Maybe they're responsible for new business growth whilst also managing client operations, account management, invoices. They're spread way too thin. In terms of their goals, these are the things that kept cropping up consistently in terms of where they want it to be. They want a significant increase in monthly revenue, ideally balanced between different revenue streams. They wanted to establish a more predictable and effective lead generation process and just a way that they could predictably rely on to acquire clients. They wanted to build a sustainable long-term relationship with their clients for increased stability, longer-term contracts, and reducing that client turnover that they typically have. They want to implement a more effective sales strategy to improve their close rates and overall sales process. They want to achieve a streamlined operational model to scale effectively and efficiently. And they want to establish a value proposition that truly resonates with their target audience and aligns with exactly what they need. So after speaking to over 400 agency owners, these are the collective set of things that they're currently struggling with and that areas that they want to improve upon. And after I did a bit of groundwork and I dove into the challenges and goals that these marketing agencies had in this landscape, the single collective underlying problem became quite clear. And almost every single agency that I spoke to had this thing in common. And even if they weren't suffering from this thing directly, solving this particular problem would be able to solve all the other problems that they're currently facing. And what that thing was they lacked a predictable method to generate new leads and sign new clients consistently. And they didn't have one, and the agencies that didn't have one were desperately trying to find or form one. So, as I said, even problems outside of signing new clients and bringing in new business consistently could be solved as a result of doing this, getting in cash flow, and then freeing up their time. And that's what a predictable acquisition process would bring for these agencies. So what we did, we went away, we built out something which we knew could solve this problem, and we got to work on a solution. And I want to run you through how this solution works, who's it for, and everything about it here today. So first of all, before I do any of that, I want to go over who this specifically is for. So this process that we use and that we've developed, it really can be applied to marketing agencies of any sort of size. Doesn't matter how many employees, it doesn't matter the scale of the agency or the scale of the operation. It really can work on any level. But we ourselves, we choose to specialize and deliver only the best results possible. So the agencies that we choose to work with have to fall under this criteria. So marketing agencies making at least 60K a month, who have case studies, who have clients, marketing agencies that their main way of getting a new business is referrals, word of mouth, personal networks, and inbound leads. Marketing agencies who at the moment don't have a predictable system to A, book qualified calls, and B, consistently convert those qualified calls into closed deals. Marketing agencies who in the past have tried outreach, lead generation agencies, or any other client acquisition methods, but just haven't seen success, mainly due to a lack of skill and a lack of time. Marketing agencies who have a good offer and a good delivery mechanism and have confidence in selling and they can sell well, but they don't have a predictable way of speaking to their ideal prospects consistently. Marketing agencies who are spreading their time too thin between multiple low leverage tasks and want to be in a position where they can drive the business forward and not have their time just sink between all of these different micro tasks which can easily be replaced by other people. Before I dive into how the process works, I want to cover the main thing that when I spoke to these agency owners and when I tried to uncover what their biggest problems were, what their goals were, the main thing that was holding them back. And the main thing that was holding them back, like I've discussed, is just signing more clients. And yeah, it really was that simple. Almost every single agency that I spoke to had the foundations. They had the initial set conditions to grow. So what that looked like was they had a team in place, they had case studies, and they had clients and a way to deliver results for their clients. But the question was, why aren't they growing? Because they had all this stuff. Like, it's almost like they spent so much time perfecting their service, building out their team, getting everything ready. They almost just thought leads should just come to them, and they should just grow predictably, almost without having to be proactive and go out and get new clients and get new business. But what it was they just weren't speaking to enough qualified decision makers every day who were in their niche, and they weren't converting them into clients. And I drew out a little diagram just to show you what it looked like. So we felt the main thing preventing marketing agencies from getting more clients and getting to that point where they can consistently add 60 to 100K a month in new revenue was literally just signing new clients. More clients would take them there because they already had those foundations in place that they needed to grow. But the problem was, like, it really wasn't as simple as them just building out this system from scratch, because in almost every case, they A, didn't have the time, or B, they just didn't have the skills to solve this problem. And most likely it was both. They didn't have the skills or the knowledge to build out a system like this, and they just didn't have the time to do it either. So their only options were they could work with a lead generation agency, and almost certainly wasting time and money, as the barrier to lead generation agencies is extremely low. It creates poor quality options in the market and just slimy salesmen who are looking for that next quick bit of cash and that next quick client to fill their pockets. Incentives aren't aligned in the majority of cases with lead generation agencies, and it makes a lot more sense for them to work with a whole range of different clients and stack small retainers rather than going deeper on a few clients and partnering with those who they can truly help and getting great results for them. And in a lot of the cases, they lack the skill and the effort and the drive to do this. The more I spoke to agencies about the interactions they had with lead generation agencies, it became pretty clear to me that the model of the lead generation agency was just to pump out as much volume as possible and not to rely on quality interactions. In a lot of the cases, the agencies were getting a crappy cookie cutter, copy and paste approach, which just did not work. The second option that founders had when trying to build out a predictable system like this was to hire a talented marketer and salesman and combine these two skills into building a predictable system. And in this landscape, the problem that they ran into was talented marketers and salesmen, and especially the people that could combine these two skills, wouldn't work for a company without earning 100K plus per year. And in a lot of the cases, they wanted more than that. It's just because of the landscape we're currently working in and how easy it is for people like this to make money in other areas and by working for themselves. So even if they were to hire out a talented marketer, a talented salesman, or preferably someone who could combine both of these systems into a predictable acquisition system, allowing them to sign more clients, they wouldn't have the experience in building out and running full-scale acquisition systems that could cover an end-to-end solution in building out a system which can predictably get them more clients. So also the risk that came with hiring these people was a big factor for these founders. If they were to hire out a person like this, it would be unlikely for them to deliver any sort of results as they didn't have that domain expertise. And the cost and time of training these people and getting them up to speed makes it almost impossible and a completely inefficient task for a business owner to do. The third thing is that they could continue doing what they're doing. And in a lot of the cases, that's what it seemed like they were doing. They would just continue to grow through referrals, networking, inbound leads, and just do what they've always done. They chose to do this and their revenue remained inconsistent. They didn't reach any sort of revenue goals they had. And it was almost impossible for them to set goals and actually work towards these goals with any sort of structure. And honestly, after mapping out these options and seeing that the paths that they could take were like this, it just became irrational for them to choose any one of these three. None of them would work. So it's why we're now positioning ourselves as the sole option, and we truly do believe that we're 10 times better than any of these options they currently had. And we want to position ourselves as the go-to authority and the person that people can come to and solve this problem once and for all. So SalesLead combines specialization, acquisition expertise and experience in this specific domain for marketing agencies, a completely done-for-you solution, and aligned incentives. And that all equals predictable growth. So I just wanted to cover a few things about my personal background and what it looks like from my perspective. So I've worked in sales ever since I've left school. I left my sales job to pursue this current business, helping marketing agencies. I've been mentored by over 4 8-figure agency owners. During that time, I really honed my craft in acquisition. I learned the ins and outs of how agencies run, how they typically get clients, and that really was what set out this whole goal of me speaking to as many agency owners as possible and really uncovering where their biggest problems are, where their biggest challenges were, and the goals they had. So I've currently worked with over 15 agency owners to build out client acquisition systems to help them install predictable growth systems. And I'm the co-founder of SalesLead. I wanted to walk you through the exact process on how to add 60 to 100K a month in new revenue in 6 to 12 months and what exactly that looks like. So essentially our process covers 3 core pillars in terms of what marketing agencies can do to add this revenue range. And these 3 core pillars are the ones that make up client acquisition, and it includes go-to-market, leads, and sales. These are the 3 core aspects. We found these 3 things to be absolutely necessary to sign clients predictably. We've essentially looked at everything it takes and we've stripped down the systems to the bare necessities and came out with these 3 methods, these 3 components of the system. So the first one is go-to-market. So your go-to-market strategy as an agency is the foundation of everything. If you do this incorrectly, if you launch a strategy to sign new clients incorrectly without having done the foundations, it's going to bottleneck every other part of the system. But if you do this correctly, it's going to make every single part of the system run like clockwork, and it's going to make everything else so much easier. So go-to-market, it can remain quite a broad term. I just wanted to cover what it encapsulates. And there's 3 main things. The first one is defining and understanding your ideal customer. Second one is building out your offer. And the third one is collecting sales assets, specifically in the form of case studies. So defining your ideal customer. Before we do anything else, it's imperative to know who we want to speak to and who specifically that we're targeting and helping. So I put in this diagram here to really sum up what it looks like in terms of when agencies go out and try and get new clients. These are the problems that they run into. They don't understand the foundation of things and how 70% of your results come from understanding your ideal customer and crafting an offer which aligns with what they want. So it's the understanding that we have of this ideal customer that allows us to craft an offer which speaks to them and stand out from all the other agencies. There's about 500,000 other agencies out there, and almost none of them sign clients predictably. And if you don't stand out from these other agencies, you're going to get exactly the same results that all the other agencies get, which is no clients and never signing clients predictably. So we'll align on what an ideal customer looks like for you and develop a complete understanding of everything about them. So this includes their wants, their needs, their desires, their hopes, their aspirations, what they're doing every day, their daily pains, their monthly pains, and their position of pain and what really drives them. So defining one specific avatar and one specific person you want to help, and this doesn't have to be industry specific, this doesn't have to be niche specific, but this is really just getting aligned on what an ideal customer looks like for you. It's going to set you drastically apart from the other agencies, and it just takes away a huge amount of complexity from your business, both on the marketing side and on the operations side. The next stage of the process is building out your offer. So your offer is simply how your agency looks from the outside. It's what you can influence your potential clients with as a form of shaping their perception around your service and what it would look like to work with you. Because they truly don't know what sort of results they're going to get from working with you until they have worked with you. And your offer is going to help shape that perception around what working with you would be like. So the main objective here is to build out an offer and a marketing message that sets you apart from other agencies. And having an in-depth knowledge of your ideal client makes that possible. So you could have the best service in the world, but if you end up looking like everyone else, you're going to get the same mediocre results as they all do, which is no clients, and it's not signing clients predictably. So if you build out an offer which stands out from the crowd and sets you apart, it's going to make deals be closed 10 times easier. So I wanted to just cover what an offer actually is and what that looks like. So a lot of people think it's a service. They think, okay, so I can position my offer as, let's say, offering Facebook ads or doing SEO or doing paid ads or influencer marketing. Like I'll just reach out to brands and say, we do influencer marketing, we can help you. And this is just simply not what it is. Getting this wrong is the quickest way to look like every single other entity in your market and lose new business to them. You're going to look exactly the same as them. So your offer should communicate the outcome of your service. The tucked in their main offer will be, we help e-commerce stores get more sales. And that's fine. That's great. If you want to look like every other agency, that's probably what you should do. If you want to really stand out and make sure that you're focusing on a specific target avatar and helping a specific set of people, this is what it looks like. So you could say, we help skincare and acne brands increase revenue by 30K a month inside 90 days with our 3-step retention framework. So that's calling out a specific avatar, that's giving a time frame, that's giving a specific outcome, and it's alluding to the service that you provide as well. So understanding your ICP, it really comes from there, and it allows you to develop an understanding of exactly what it is they want and then craft marketing around that. And that's all it is. So the beauty of it is nothing that you're doing on the back end, nothing about your service, nothing about your operations needs to change. It's simply how it's communicated to the market. And it's just marketing 101. It's simple. And the majority of agencies, especially the lead generation agencies that a lot of the agencies that I was speaking to had worked with and had been burnt by in the past, it was really quite sad to see. In a lot of the cases, they were just pumping huge amounts of volume, using generic templatized copy, and reaching out to brands that weren't even in the niche and were so far away from what the agency's target client was. It was really quite sad to see. So being specific and targeted to a specific target market and building out an offer which aligns from that allows you to get 10 times the results, all without annoying your target market or destroying the reputation you have or coming across as spammy. The next stage in terms of go-to-market strategy, and again, this is pretty critical, is sales assets. And this is done in the form of collecting case studies. So what are sales assets? So sales assets are resources that allow you to both stand out and build trust and authority at the same time. And in turn, this increases your booked meetings and close rate. The most effective form of case studies are case study videos. And what this looks like is they're video interviews with your current or past clients, and it covers their situation before working with you, their situation after working with you, and how you and yourself helped to bridge that gap, how you helped them get from A to B and used your service as the mechanism that they could do that with. So for prospects to see this before they've booked a call with you, before they've become a client, it's extremely helpful, as prospects that you're reaching out to, they face the same problem as clients you've helped, and they want the same outcome as the clients you've helped. So it's really a no-brainer to get it in front of people, show them exactly what you've done and how you've helped someone exactly the same as them and in their same situation achieve the results they want. You already have the case studies, you already have the client relationships. Why not document this to gain more growth and sign more clients and help more people? So it's essentially a no-brainer to use this. The second stage of the process is leads. So at this stage, we have an ideal customer, we have an offer that appeals to them, but what's next? I mean, it's extremely simple. So after defining who your ideal customer is, defining their pain points, their fears, their frustrations, uncovering everything about them, as well as an offer that matches what their pain points are, we can simply focus on putting your offer, which is what you do, in front of the people who you're offering it to, the people that you help. So if we do this, if we're putting an offer that we've created, which aligns with everything your target market is struggling with and the exact thing they need to help them reach their outcome, not a single message is going to come across as spammy, as we've taken the time to truly understand who we're reaching out to, and we're giving them exactly what they want. What they want is targeted messaging. It speaks to a specific avatar. It's giving them the exact thing that they want and they need. And it's coming from the authority that can deliver this process, that can deliver the outcomes, because you've done it before. So after doing this, after creating that database of the exact target avatar that you want to reach out to, putting your custom offer in front of them, the lead is going to respond in one of three ways. So it's either going to be a positive response, it's going to be a negative response in the fact that they're not interested, or they're just not going to respond at all. And that's absolutely fine. But how do we get to this point? How do we build out a system that actually communicates with these people and reaches out to them? So after testing a lot of different forms of outreach and client acquisition, we've always came back to outbound as the most effective and efficient way to get in contact with your target market, build relationships, and just book meetings and sign clients. It's as simple as that. Like, we have genuinely tried everything in terms of, we've tried WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, email, Pigeon. No, we haven't tried Pigeon, but we've tried almost everything in terms of how to reach out to prospects and sign new clients. And the one that has consistently stood out as being the most scalable and efficient has been email outbound. And there's three main reasons to this. Like, we haven't just stumbled upon this for no reason. There's three key points. It's the most capital efficient way to reach your prospects at scale. So it's extremely easy to build out a system which can reach these prospects in an efficient way. And it's extremely scalable. So once we have a proven way of getting results with your target market, we have a proven way of, we now understand your target market, we have an offer which aligns from them, we're speaking to a very specific criteria. It's just a matter of increasing the volume to increase the amount of meetings in the system so you can close more deals. It's also risk-free. So sending a low volume across multiple accounts ensures that you won't run into issues when sending. This is nothing revolutionary. I'm not claiming to have like a magic system which solves this, but the most important thing about using this is using it in the right way. And when it's done right, it genuinely has the ability to effortlessly produce meetings with your target market on demand. It's like turning on a tap. Most people do not do this right, and it allows a huge advantage for the people that actually can do this correctly and want to gain an edge in the marketplace. They want to pull away from their competitors, and their competitors will be scratching their heads thinking, oh, we don't do this. We just graph referrals, inbound leads. How are they getting so many leads predictably? It's through this specific channel. So what these people do incorrectly in terms of, in a lot of cases in email outbound, is sending spammy, non-specific or targeted messaging. They don't understand the offer because they haven't taken the time to. They don't understand the target market that they're helping. They don't use feedback or testing to improve their results. They're not actually testing things. They're not tracking their metrics. And they just adopt a generic spray and pray approach. And it's really sad to see because there's so much growth and there's so much potential that can be had from using something like this, but they just don't use it correctly. And honestly, no one benefits from it. So by taking the time to understand your target market, your offer, and having a detailed understanding of the skills that are required, like copywriting, like psychology, we're able to produce results like these. And these are some of the campaigns that we've run for our partners. You can see here there's 1,400 people contacted, 95 opportunities. This was almost like a 7% positive response rate. So almost 7% of the people that we reached out to responded positively and said they were interested in what the offer was. And I haven't just pulled this from a random fact sheet or a random website. You can check out my LinkedIn for further details on these specific campaigns in terms of who they were for, what the offer was, the client we were helping, and yeah, go from there. So I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here because generating interest in a campaign is only step one in the lead generation process. The second step, and equally as important, is converting interest. So as I mentioned before, there's only really three ways that a prospect can react to a message that you send them. They can be interested, they can not be interested, or they could just not react and not give a response. So no response replies will be taken care of with follow-ups. And not interested responses are exactly that. They're not interested. So the focus that we put into the system remains on only the interested responses. And typically after sending thousands of emails, doing thousands of campaigns for prospects, we've found that they only come in three main forms. So this is questions about more information, wanting to know more about the service, the mechanism, how everything works, and wanting to move forward and book a call. So having acquired the knowledge earlier on your target market, having the knowledge around your offer, how that all works, converting the interest, it becomes extremely easy. And we can craft answers that align specifically with what the prospect wants and what the prospect needs, and that actually align with what you're selling. So now you have a system that consistently adds meetings to your diary. You're probably thinking, what's next? So what's next is sales. So sales, I'm going to cover three main forms in terms of sales. So number one is using case studies as sales assets. So sales isn't just speaking to your prospect on a sales call. It's also the perspective that the prospect has before going into the call with you. And that's going to drastically affect its outcome. Therefore, every positive interaction that you can enable the prospect to have with your company before they get on the call with you is going to affect the outcome of the sales process. And the most effective way to build a positive connection with the prospect prior to the call is with interview style case studies. As mentioned before, it's simply a video interview with your current clients or past clients, documenting what you've done for them, the effect it had, how you've helped them, where they were before and where they were after. And these can be sent as part of pre-call flows to your prospects, and it's going to help them to shorten the sales cycle. It's going to help to clear that pipeline of maybes. It's going to eliminate people who are just hanging in that maybe zone saying, yeah, just give me some more time to think about it, when they have no intention of getting back to you. And you're going to stand out even further from other agencies because no one is doing this. No one is actively taking the time to interview their current clients like this and document where they were beforehand and where they were after working with you. It's going to give you a huge edge. It's going to position you as an authority, and it's going to enable you to stand out massively from other agencies who are in a similar area to you. So, systemizing the process. So, what we want to do after we've built out these sales assets, we know they're going to help with the sales process. We want to give you a predictable sales process that you can use to close the leads and close the interested prospects that we can give you. So how this starts off is we'll take a deep dive into what your process currently looks like. And these are a few things that we're looking for when we initially do an audit of what your process looks like. So we're looking for if your calls have structure. Do you ask a specific set of questions on every call? How much are you speaking versus how much is the prospect speaking? What does that ratio look like? Are you tracking your metrics? Are you logging your calls? Do you have a system and a process in place for the pitch and the proposal stage? Are you aware of current questions you receive about your service, current objections that you receive when you pitch? Are you recording and watching back any of your calls to try and improve? What does your body language and tonality and questioning and pitch look like when you're presenting and when you're speaking? And how many calls are you typically closing in? Like, what does that sales cycle look? Are you following up in between calls? Like, how does it all look? We really want to get into the crux of how everything looks and do a complete audit about what your sales process looks like. And that is the basis for improvement. So we have a goal for our partners to be closing at a minimum of 25% conversion rate. And we want to make that sales process as simple as possible whilst being aligned on what the target market wants and what your offer wants. Because that sales process, it needs to align with your target market and your offer. So we're looking to keep it extremely simple, all whilst maintaining a reliable structure. Like, it can be simple and it can maintain structure and it can speak to your exact prospect all at the same time. And it doesn't have to be this rigid binary set of questions. You can still maintain the approach that you like to sell in. We're just adding a bit of structure and a bit of predictability to a system that in a lot of the cases is just founders freestyling and founders just speaking way too much on the call and not having any predictability or structure on their calls. So our main goal on the call, and our main goal as salesmen and people that have calls with prospects, is to define three things. It's the prospect's current state, the prospect's desired state, and what's stopping them from getting there. So the goal on the call is to get their desired state, get their current state, get their desired state, increase that separation between the two, and then position yourself and your service and your offer as the bridge to get there from their current state to their desired state. So you want to position yourself and your service as the way they can bridge that gap. And this is what it looks like. So where they currently are, where they want to be, positioning yourself as the method they can use to traverse this gap. And after you've been able to consistently sign clients using the process we give you, we have a system that works. And that's what the goal is. We're essentially looking to give you proof of concept and give you a system that works. So you can systemize the sales process, and then we have two options. We can hire a sales rep to replace you in the sales process and remove you from the day-to-day of taking the sales calls, or we can scale up the volume if you have the availability to take the calls and you want to remain in the position of doing the sales. It now just becomes a matter of scaling the system, which is predictable and proven. And bookings are generated automatically and deals are closed automatically because we have structure in both the marketing system to generate leads and the sales system to generate new deals. So that's everything. That's how the process works at an extremely high level. Yes, admittedly, there are a lot of nuances within that, but I wanted to just cover this at a high level today. And obviously I'll go into what you can do if you want to dive a little bit deeper into exactly what we do with our partners. So just a reminder of what you'll get if you'll partner with us. This is some of the outcomes that you'll receive. You'll add 60 to 100K a month in 6 to 12 months, or you don't pay. You'll be able to consistently speak to your dream clients who need what you're offering. You'll gain access to valuable sales assets to speed up the sales cycle, demonstrate authority, and build trust. You'll be able to predictably sign clients through a proven sales system. Increased enterprise value as a result of having both a proven marketing system and a proven sales system. You'll have the ability to generate cash flow on demand. You'll only have to work with clients that you want to work with, and you don't have to work with those low-paying clients who just cause you a headache. You'll be able to pick and choose the clients that you want to work with because you have so much choice. And you'll be able to start working on the business as opposed to working in the business, and remove yourself from those low leverage tasks which are sucking all your time. So if this is you, if this does apply to you, if you are a marketing agency who meets this criteria of making at least 60K a month with case studies and clients, you're currently relying on referrals, word of mouth, networks, or inbound for your growth at the moment. You currently don't have a predictable system to book qualified calls and sign new clients. You've tried outreach, you've tried lead generation agencies or other different client acquisition methods in the past, but you haven't really seen success due to a lack of skill, a lack of effort, and a lack of time. You have good delivery mechanism and confidence in selling, but you just don't have a predictable way to speak to and convert your ideal prospects. And in a lot of the cases, that's the case. Like, you have all the foundations in place, you have that confidence to sell, but you just lack the predictable systems to generate interest, book that interest onto your calendar, and then convert those prospects into clients for life. It's that criteria. Then I will personally create you a custom plan showing exactly how we can add 60 to 100K a month in 6 to 12 months on a done for you basis. And if we don't, you don't have to pay. So it's a no-brainer. Below this video, there will be a time where you can book in a call with me, and I'll simply have a call with you just to establish whether or not it's a fit, whether or not I genuinely think we can help you, because as mentioned before, we're extremely selective in who we take on. We're only taking on around 1 to 2 clients per month at the moment, and depending on when you watch this video, it may be full, our capacity may be taken for the month. But if you look below this video, there'll be a button, I believe it says book, get a free growth plan, and you can book in a time with me where I'll personally check to see whether or not it's going to be a fit for us to work together. And don't worry, there's no pictures on the first call, simply a call to get to know each other. And from there, I'll go away, I'll build you out a custom growth plan and present you what it would look like to work together. So that's everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you soon.